afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Another day, another Friday. Here we are. It is December 6th. Oh, tomorrow's Pearl Harbor Day. So let us remember Pearl Harbor. Um, but we are on the swing. We're towards the end of the year. It's cold everywhere else but down here, I guess. Football season is rocking and rolling. We won't get into it. We talk about the Detroit Lions at all. But as far as the industry goes, well, you know what? AI's had a ton of things happen in the last couple of days. We can get into it a little more, bunch of releases. The industry is chugging along, right, Art? How are you? I think you're doing pretty good, right?
Still chugging along. Yeah,
Chugging
doing
along.
well. Closed the net new deal for 204K last week. So
Excellent.
that's pretty sweet moving into
Dang,
the
that's pretty
last 3
good.
weeks.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. And I got another 60K in orders during the last 2 days.
No kidding.
Yeah, so 260K and the chance I could finish at 300K for the month.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, for the month. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's
Yeah,
a
that's pretty good.
half a year's worth of business quota wise.
Well, that's great. Well, cool. That's good. That's good to hear, man. On that front, who did we have Taylor on a couple weeks ago? Remember her? She was talking about training and things like that. So I've been
Yeah.
running into more and more, believe it or not, more and more new reps. I mean, we're not talking thousands, but really, you just
They're
started 6 months ago? Oh, you just started 3 months ago? Wow.
they're all
Yeah,
over the place.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good. I mean, you remember not that long ago, no one could find anyone.
Well, right after COVID, right?
Yep. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of the reps, they let them all go and they all found other jobs.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And believe it or not, in 30 days, it's the 5-year anniversary of COVID.
God, it's been 5 years.
Yep.
Oh yeah, 2020.
2020.
The yeah.
And I believe me and my wife got it extremely late December.
Yeah, before. Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people who said
Here in
that.
the Northeast, we got it before and we never got it again after that.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Well, that's good. Yeah, there's a whole nother rabbit hole there. Okay, cool. What else is going on? What's going on in the industry, Art? What are you seeing? What are you knowing? What do you want to talk about?
Not much when it comes to introductions of new products.
Right.
Not much at all. I mean, if you follow the social media challenge, airwaves, it's been a little slow, but every day you hear more and more about the ECS summit in Phoenix, which takes place I think the second week of January,
Yeah. Second week. And
right?
that's it, that
And
dovetails nicely into the whole AI thing because that's where I remember what was it? Might have been 2 years ago. Was
yeah,
it 2 years ago?
and you know what?
Yeah.
That's a pretty unique event now
Yeah.
because all of the so you probably don't remember NAMDA events, do you?
No, no, I was
How
never.
about
I know what it is, but I was
okay? How
never
about
part
you,
of it.
John? Did you ever
I've
attend
yeah, I've heard of them, yeah, but
NAMDA?
never.
And
That was
so,
that was
right.
before my business time.
For
Yeah.
for for those that are listening and those that don't know, NAMDA was the show of the office equipment industry, and it happened every year. It could be in Atlanta one year. It could be it was in New Orleans. It was in Vegas. I mean, all those hot spots every year. And it was when every single manufacturer, dealer owner, manufacturers reps, everybody in the industry got together to show their wares and mingle. That was really the only event where everybody could get together and share information. And that declined over times, and
Yep.
over time, NAMDA basically went by the wayside, and BTA evolved out of NAMDA, and they started having more regional shows, right? And then the manufacturers in turn didn't go to those regional shows, and they started having their own events, as John well knows what
Yeah.
Rico did. And what they did was they closed off their they closed off their meeting. So where once everybody got together and shared information and shared technology and machines, well, now it was just between the Canon dealers or the Rico dealers and Toshiba. But if you were a dual line dealer or a triple line dealer, at least you got to visit these different shows. But bringing back ECS, it may not be as much equipment as NAMDA used to be, where you could see every single
Right.
machine in the industry, but you can now meet everybody in the industry when it's attended by 4 or 5. I'm thinking it's going to be at least 400 people at this event in
I
in
just talked.
January.
Yeah, I just talked with Patricia yesterday about it. And yeah, it's going to be that big. And what's interesting is it was, give them a little pump up, I guess. It was designed to be more application, it was less hardware. As a matter of fact, I remember Mike talking about it a long time ago. Didn't even want to talk copiers. Now, everyone's there is in the copier. Well, I shouldn't say that, right? I mean, we had Intel people there, IBM people there,
Cloud, MSPs.
yeah, MSPs, but traditional, not you would never see IBM at a Lambda or an iTex, right? Or NVIDIA or Intel or Microsoft for that fact, for
Correct.
that matter, back in the olden days. But they were prime guests that came on the stage. And now with even the copier dudes that come in, they're talking more MSP, more IT, more things like that. Technology versus speeds and feeds. Matter of fact, I doubt very much anyone even brings a copier. No, not at all. It hasn't been that way for years. But yeah, you're right. But that is, so that's coming up in January.
And that's really John's world.
Yeah, John's
That,
got more of the doc man and the scan and
yeah.
workflow and design and
Yeah,
spatial.
that's where it is, because ultimately right now, hardware you can only invent so many things that are hardware based. You can only have so many hardware features.
Right.
Some would argue after you get duplexing and sorting, what else are you gonna do with a copier? So yeah, so
Nothing.
it's tough on the hardware side to differentiate yourself anymore.
Right, right. And that was bound to happen. Well, let me ask
Yeah.
you this, because I don't know how I didn't ask this before, but so is there that big of a difference now at all? But like what's one of the more prominent document management systems out there? Well,
Well,
let's say,
in our world is
yeah,
DocuWare, but
DocuWare, right?
there's
So
there's tons.
there's tons. Yeah, but there was a time probably when DocuWare only worked with what, two or three pieces of hardware, maybe back in the very, very early days. That's not true anymore, is it? I mean, it's
No,
pretty much
no.
so,
It's
yeah,
it's to the software manufacturer's benefit to be hardware agnostic.
right, right, which means it works on every piece of hardware. That's the
Right.
trick. So,
Exactly.
um, so by doing that, it kind of diminishes the value of a piece of hardware, right? That's one little notch that, well, you can do this on your Kyocera, you can do this on your
Mhm.
Kana, whatever. But that's a benefit to the customer too. So that kind of brings it down. But while we're into that realm, anything new over there? I mean, I've been seeing more and more, maybe it's because I'm aware of it because of Twain, but more, I wouldn't say, yeah, interest and publicity around the scanning,
Mhm.
actual physical scanning, which again surprises me, but it's there.
Sure.
Um, and then I hear, everyone's doing AI now with their whatever it is, they're auto tagging and things. But
Yeah.
so it's twofold. What's new in that realm? What can you tell us if there is anything? And then what I've seen is a lot of the high end, bigger company. I mean, we're Price Waterhouses, the big consulting houses are doing this with document tagging and smart stuff like that on their own. I don't hear our traditional name like DocuWare or anything like that. So twofold. What's new in the industry around services and more importantly, DocMan, and what do you think about the big guys getting in?
Well, I mean, like you said, there's a big push in the AI market. The traditional doc management companies are buying AI companies.
Hmm.
DocuWare just purchased a very large, I guess, and well-regarded AI company in Germany, and they are integrating their processes into the traditional, read a page, pick an area, pick a word. If you see an invoice on a page, it's an invoice. If you see PO, it's a purchase order, that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
into more of a holistic, let's look at this document and determine what's important by AI.
Is this bothering you?
And it's it's a pretty impressive a collection of functionality that they are touting. And that's just going to get more and more integrated into all the systems until everybody's going to have some AI component.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's it's a new buzzword. That's the new differentiation. So we'll see. We just went through training recently on this AI stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it is pretty spectacular. It is. It's an amazing technology.
Wow.
So.
All right.
Yeah, interesting to know more. I want to introduce Eddie to everybody.
Hey, Eddie.
And we've got Eddie on, and Eddie is from Cobb down in Virginia. So,
How y'all
Eddie, I
doing?
just want to thank you for tuning in. And maybe you could just give John and Greg and our listeners a little background on yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of like you, Art. I've been in the business for a long time, about 42 years. Started when I was 16 and did about 20 some years, let's just say, on the service side of the business, part-time after school. Ended up service manager at two different organizations, actually three different organizations. No, two different organizations I was with, and moved to the sales side probably about 25 years ago. Our company, me and another guy pretty much ran it. And Art had been there before to visit with us, Blue Ridge Copier and Ethos, and we got bought out by R.J. Young, and it was all roses and flowers at first, but then well, that's roses and flowers are the same thing, but it was all roses and strawberries. How about that? And then it just changed. Told my wife, I'd kind of had enough of that and just resigned on the spot. I'd actually worked at Cobb 10 years prior to that. And back here now, not just as a sales rep, don't my blood pressure's way down. Sure, I'm sure you like to hear that, Art. So,
Yes.
but really like it. Nothing's easy. It's a lot of competition down here, but we're Canon, Konica Minolta, HP. We also handle Kyocera, just the printer line there, and do a lot of technology products, everything from Formax products to postage machines to Canon wide formats, HP wide formats, document management, a little bit of every IT services, so voice over IP. So, but mainly just trying to move a lot of copiers and printers in Southwest Virginia here. So actually looking for employees. We've had a time, I don't know, Art, if you remember Bill Mitchell, but
Yeah, I do.
he ended up working, or I ended up working with him over here at Cobb, and he passed away. And
Oh, I'm sorry.
but
Wow.
anyway, I know we're looking for probably two sales reps in my area here in Roanoke, and then one for the Blacksburg, Southwest Virginia, and also in Lynchburg. It's just trying to find people these days. I mean, I don't have anything to do with that, and I'm so happy, but it's just you can't get anybody.
Hmm. Hmm. It's interesting you should mention that because we talked about that at the top when we just got in. That I would mirror what you're saying, but I've also in the last 2 or 3 weeks heard of actually run into new copier reps across the
Really?
country. But it's still what you're saying is typical, right? It's tough to find people, and
And we're
that's
kind
why
of
it was so remarkable.
here.
We talked about it. I've heard of someone who just hired on 2 or 3 weeks
Yeah.
ago. It's like, whoa,
And we're kind of rural here in Southwest
yeah,
Virginia,
yeah,
compared to, like, I mean, we're nowhere as big as Richmond or especially some of the larger cities, you guys are probably in, but it's just, it's hard to get the young ones in when they can go somewhere and start out making, with some of the technology companies
yeah.
these days, a good salary, especially on the service side. And then we're looking for service reps too. And it's just, It's just not good in our area. So
Wow. Wow. So, well, there's a good and a bad, right? You need the people because the sales are there. I'm guessing there's enough
yeah,
market to support
yeah, it's definitely
four
enough
guys.
market in this area. So where are you
Wow.
located, Greg?
Oh, right now I'm down in Fort Myers, Florida, but I'm anywhere between Wisconsin, Detroit, and all over. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah.
What about you, John?
I'm in the Harrisburg area, so I
Oh, good.
cover kind of I'm the western side of the dealer we work for, and Art's the eastern side of the dealer we work for. So
Mm-hmm.
we cover both ends, meet in the middle
Yeah,
sometimes.
good.
Hmm, hmm. And you say it's same thing on the service side too, huh?
Yeah, I know that, they've it's just really hard to get some, like I mean, my son, he's 22, and when he can go to a technology company here and make heart monitors, pacemakers, put these little devices together and make a really good living and not have to get toner all over his hands, you know. That's a big thing. And he goes to work, he works some crazy hours, but he makes, really good for his age at 23. So
Yep, that's the way it is. Wow. All right. Well,
And Eddie, is he in sales?
I'm
Or
sorry.
is he in sales or is he more of a tech?
No, he's works in manufacturing. He's actually a micro machinist. So
hmm,
Okay.
Wow.
he's on the floor. Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, welcome. Yeah. I think we were still talking about document management and what's new in that world. Did we finish that? Did we cap that topic off?
I think so. I mean,
All
it
right.
is always evolving, and like I said, that it's big in the AI world is automatically recognizing documents, and
Right.
it's an amazing
So,
piece of technology.
so I want to talk a little bit about AI and something that I found out this week, which I wasn't, I kind of fell into it while asking AI questions. So,
Hmm.
Greg, you and I, as you know, last week we had that intro into a dealer to get an appointment to teach their reps about AI,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So I was doing some additional work now at the dealership where we work. Um, we're taught to a coach would come in per se, and they would teach us more about people to people communication, knowing what type of people you're communicating with. Well, so it comes down to personality traits, right?
Okay. Okay.
Right. And personality traits, uh, uh, any industry are not in the world, there, um, people are assigned a color based on their traits, blue,
Okay.
red, green, yellow, and they've got all different meanings for each one of those traits,
Okay.
right?
All right.
I don't know them all off the top of my head, but I know someone who is dominating and forceful and direct is red. All right. Somebody who takes their time and is more diligent in a process is blue and could be a little bit of green, right?
Okay.
So a lot of times salespeople don't replicate the personality traits of the clients they're going to meet with.
Right.
And a lot of times I may be red and blue, and I may do a presentation in my red and blue personality, which doesn't clash with the yellow green person that I'm
Okay. Okay.
trying to communicate with. And all of a sudden, we've got a communication error or clash. So they teach us more on how to read that person and be able to transfer your trait to communicate better with them. If you notice they're a red dominator, if they're a blue, or green, yellow, or an orange, whatever color it may be, right?
Okay. Okay.
Right. And you don't get that until you meet with the person, right? About what personality traits they are, until you start communicating with them. So I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if I could find out a personality trait of a client I'm going to meet with before I meet with them?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
And then I could plan my proposal for what I'm expecting as a blue-green person, a blue-orange person, a green-yellow person, right? And I'd have a better chance of success right off the bat and not have to maybe, I'm in a meeting and I can't switch gears that fast and we miscommunicate and we miss the sale, we miss the order, we
Right.
miss the appointment.
Art, let me stop you right there, but I want you to keep going because yeah, it works in sales, but it's every type of communication,
Right.
right? So if I have a board meeting, if I have a staff meeting, if I'm meeting with the manufacturing team at a third shift about something, it could, I'm guessing you could use this technique. I hate using that word, but you could use this approach with any type of communication.
Correct. Knowing
Go
who
on.
you're speaking to.
Go on. Yeah. Yeah.
So got out my chat GBT and I started putting in people. I put in one person that I didn't know, right? And Greg, you saw that exercise we did
Yeah.
for that one company we spoke
Yep, yep.
about.
Yeah.
So I added to that after we ended our meeting.
Okay. So just to back up real quick, we did a quick, and correct me if I'm wrong, Art, we did a quick profile of a company, quick search, quick whatever you want to call it, some business intelligence on a prospect, and it came back, it being the LLM with all sorts of relevant and real data.
Correct.
Okay.
Real data that we could use. Anyway, to make a long story short, I wanted to know more about this person, right? And I put in, tell me more about this person. Tell me more about this person's hobbies or passions. Tell me if he's written anything. And it came back with a bunch of different items. So then I said, okay, all the information I've got in this with this person, can you tell me his personality color, his trait? What is his color? And it came back to me with the color, which is the two colors, which is his personality trait. So before I'm in meeting with the client, I already have an understanding of how he's going to react to certain things or how I can present my presentation that will communicate on his personality level.
Right.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in order to see if my assumption was right and the LLM made the correct assumption, I took two people that I know and did the same thing with those two people. And voila, both personality traits came back right on
Wow.
as to what they were. So can you imagine now that you can do all the research that you need, and then you can ask the LLM, what type of personality trait am I going to be meeting with? I thought that was extremely interesting.
And where does it collect this information from, Art?
So this collects information from the web. So if the web, internet, if you've written any articles, if you've maybe there was a newspaper article or a magazine article that was done on you and it was posted on the web, the LLM, which is the artificial intelligence, goes out within seconds and gathers all of this information. If you don't think you have enough information, it will say, do you want me to dig deeper for more information? I'm like, hell yeah. Give me more, right? And then I start asking it other questions. Well, does this person have hobbies? Does this person have passions? Did he or she write any articles? How do they feel about sustainability, right? how should I approach someone?
It's any question you would have in real life. Anything you can hit the and art, boy, that's pretty good. But that's a relatively new. The advances on these things are happening leaps and bounds. I alluded to it earlier. Between now and the end of the year, OpenAI is announcing something, I think, every day, or there's some sort of marketing rollout of some sort. But they just released a new version. This is get used to it, but each new version is like not a 10x, it's like a 50 times better than the last one. And they have one now that is a $200 version that they admit it, not everyone needs it. Matter of fact, you probably won't need it because it'll handle majorly complex situations and scenarios and things like that.
Right.
Like how to build a company, how to build that company and run that company and then run it. Okay.
Right.
Now,
Eddie, I'm sorry.
incredible. Go ahead, Art.
Eddie,
No.
can you imagine getting that information beforehand, before you're meeting with a client and you know nothing about that client?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
It's shocking.
I
So it's
mean,
like having their whole bio in front of you before you ever talk to them.
Yep.
Wow.
correct?
Here's what I find very interesting. There are companies that are selling that service for salespeople to have business intelligence, to be armed with that information before they go in. There are companies that have built business models on obtaining that information and not just grabbing the data, but doing what you just did, Art. Okay, now based on this, he's a yellow, he's a purple, he's a whatever. That whole process, right?
Right.
There's 30 years of research might have gone into that, psychological and all that studies, and you got it for free.
Wow.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Mighty
that's the future there. I mean, that's not the future. That's what's happening now.
Mhm.
You can
Amazing.
look at all
Right.
the other applications. Yeah.
Well,
Right,
hey,
so-
guys, I just want to. I don't
All right,
wanna-
John.
I have to
That's right,
head out.
John.
Appreciate it.
Take it easy. We'll see you.
We'll see you soon.
Seeing you, John. Have a good
Thanks for
weekend.
chiming in. So, so Eddie, I did some work on Greg Walters before the show started.
Uh-oh.
You did
And
what?
and I'll read a little bit. Well, I'll
Oh.
see if I can share my screen. I don't know if I want to share my screen. I'll read it a little bit to you. All right. So based on principles of color psychology, from the reference article, that was the article I pointed it to tell me, more about color psychology for people. It said he's definitely a mix of blue, red, and green. Blue is trust, communication, and depth. Of course, read the bullet points to find out more about depth. But he's also red, which is passionate, leadership, and it has energy, right? Then it's got a few bullet points after that. And then he's got a mix of a light green, which is a growth, balance, and fresh perspectives, right? Which I know Greg very well, and these definitely, they hit the mark on Greg.
Wow.
And it goes to one of the bullet points, Greg's emphasis on innovation in evolving business practices can align with a Green's reputation of growth.
Wow.
So when you look at these colors and you read about these colors, you can have a good idea of maybe the approach you want to take when you're meeting with them. And if you're not sure of the approach, just ask.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Ye shall receive.
That's right. You just say, okay, and in theory, you could self-profile you or whomever, right? So these are my colors, and you ask, well, do you know what you based on what you know about me, how should I approach them?
Correct.
And it'll match that and give you
So that was something new that I used AI for.
I'm telling you, Art, this stuff that's happening, and the more you talk to people who are in the business of training anyone on anything, the bells have got to be going off in their head, going, "Well, geez, oh, Pete." Just like I said, I've studied 25 years to put this thing together, right, and to teach other people how to do it. and some fresh copier rep can come out of college or whatever, sit down, just know how to ask the right questions, and they're going to gain all the knowledge that I've invested in for free or $20 a month.
Right.
Now you take that into that industry, and that applies from, Joe Blow down the road doing sales training to Price Waterhouse, all the big consulting houses, everyone who quote unquote is an expert. There are none left. I mean, remember when you had to have 10,000 hours in to become an expert of whatever it was, right? That was what, if you did something for 10,000 hours, you could be considered an expert. That's totally wrong now. Totally. Oh yeah, that doesn't make it any easier, but this just, you don't need to go to an expert. This is
Correct.
crazy stuff.
Correct.
So that's me going way out there. But yeah, so someone who's like, if you hire 2 new reps, brand new, you can give them the orientation, you can give them, the who we are, why we do what we do, that kind of stuff. And then teach them how to ask the right questions, which is what we should have been doing from the very beginning anyway in sales. It's all about questions, right? And then let them go free on the LLM and they'll learn it like you just did, Art. I mean, Art? I don't think that what you, not to water down what you did, but that wasn't that hard, was it, Art?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I'm doing one on Eddie Jones right now.
I don't know if I'm comfortable with all that.
Ooh,
Uh-oh.
Eddie, you're muted. Eddie, you have your mic's off.
Okay. Yeah,
There you go.
I said, hold on a second. My wife's getting ready to walk out in just a second here. So you
Oh,
want anything you come up with on this AI, let's just see what it is first.
What? Oh,
well, while you're doing that, Art,
Your background is a little bit obscure on the web, it seems.
oh, well, that could be. Right? Because if someone doesn't have a digital footprint or a small digital footprint, you're not going to
Correct.
get anything.
Yeah.
Correct. And it's not giving me
Okay.
not giving me actually much on Eddie.
All right,
but
Art,
yeah.
then ask it, explain, hey, I can't find anything on this particular person. What should that tell me? What big assumptions can you make based on what you can't find? Oh, wow.
Limited online presence, privacy preference.
Okay.
Some industry professionals rely less on social media for branding or communication.
Okay, well, that's something, and then you could probably even dive in deeper on that and find out a little bit more on the personality. I mean,
Anything about music or anything? Or
Nothing about music, but if I put in your link for your Facebook page,
yeah,
Mhm.
I'm sure then, because that's the next thing I would go to.
Right.
okay.
So it's considering that I got nothing on you, I know you have a Facebook page. I would put the link in for your Facebook page
Mhm.
and then say, now tell me more about Eddie. And at that point in time, once I get your Facebook stuff, I'll guarantee you I can get your colors. And I can know, if I didn't know more about you, I would learn more about your personality traits.
Mhm.
Wow, but a executive or even manager, yeah, you boy, in your enterprise accounts, you're going to get a lot of information on multiple decision makers and things like that. Interesting.
Correct.
Or
Correct.
I'll bet you, Art, if you didn't have anything, you could probably put together a profile of, like your architects, right? You may not know that there may not be a digital footprint of someone who's could buy a wide format, right? But you know a little bit about the industry, right?
Right.
Just basic stuff. So there's probably some way that you can pull out, well, listen, I'm working with an architect in this area. This number of the company's been around for 25 years. You know, you can start to feed it some information, would then ask it, what kind of assumptions should I make of
Oh,
a
absolutely. Yeah.
purchasing agent or a mid manager or HR agent or a whatever, be senior vice president in charge of international trade or whatever, you know what I mean? And then come up with something.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure like FBI or CSI, I mean, getting all these profiles. That's
Yep.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Today they've got everything. Everyone. I mean, yeah, we'll go. I mean, this is nothing. That's what I was going to say about what I said earlier about the $200 a month package from LLM, from OpenAI. It's this, there's no, how should I say this? There's a small cost uplift associated with that, but it's basically a switch that they switch on,
Mm.
which, I mean, they're just making money like crazy now.
Is that $200? Is that for unlimited users or?
Nope, that's per user per month. Now you get unlimited quote unquote usage, but it's self-described as being designed for higher, super complicated problems.
Right.
Now, I've only heard a few people have actually used it in the last couple of days, and yeah, they're all going to say, "Oh my gosh, it's just incredible." But they also say that the new version that just came out that everyone can get is light years above what it was just last week, which is
Oh,
fine
wow.
with me. Fine with me, right? I mean,
Yeah.
except it's funny because I think Art and I just might have had this conversation. Is like, I look at my personal technology stack, right, which I include. Could be Netflix, Apple, all those things that we end up paying for per month.
Yeah.
And, just did it because we want, obviously, right? Well, like everyone else, we want to figure out what it is. And there's also, I had 3 Netflix accounts. What the hell? I never
Wow.
even knew it. Anyway, but, if I add up that stack and I add up how much I could get out of my AI tool, this stack starts to look a little bit more disposable as it's disposable
Right.
income versus something like this. Once I can find out, well, hell, I can create an agent that can be a voice bot that can do my service desk, my incoming calls, first, second, and third, whatever. I can do that. All right. And for $200 a month, I can put together an agent that will handle purchasing or vice president of operations. $200 a month looks really cheap, doesn't
Right.
it? Don't you
So-
think?
So tell me your thoughts on a lot of dealerships are now being approached to incorporate AI into their back office. Whether it's their ERP software, whether it's their
Robot.
CRM software, to incorporate that now.
Mhm.
But wouldn't it be, I mean, is that the first place to start? I mean, I've been a salesperson, always will be a salesperson. I'll probably never be in that upper management. But wouldn't I like to start with my salespeople first so I could generate more revenue and more profit to pay for that into my ERP and CRM?
It's a common question that doesn't even, it's not dependent on AI. It's any type of technological advancement that the dealers have looked at, from going to paper to a CRM to ECI or not ECI, but any of them. But yeah, to answer your question, it's twofold. Yes, but the trick is to start. Period. No matter where, and it's
Well,
easier to go with your salespeople and the individuals. Well, you're swerved into they're almost carpetbaggers right now, right? Because everyone's
so
coming in with AI.
right. And they just say, well, give us your money.
Yeah, that's it. Unfortunately, that's it.
And we're going to do all these amazing things. But are you putting the chicken before the egg?
You're putting it. Yeah,
Or
but
the egg before the
there's
chicken, or
you, you're approaching it incorrectly. You're approaching it the same way you would have approached an IT project 12 months ago, right? You look at it, you verticalize it, you attack a silo, and then you might expand out from there. That doesn't work with a solution that handles everything, right? There's no verticals. There's not even any horizontals because it can go
Mhm.
everywhere. So, and this is just my opinion because it changes, right? I don't think it's ever going to be shrink wrapped. I don't think you're going to get the AI solution for copier dealers, right? Like your with a digital gateway. It's not going to be that because everyone's different. We know that. And
right,
it's switched from everyone is different, but we've got this one box that everyone can fit in because the box is so huge, right? Digital gateway will handle everything. Whether it does or doesn't is regardless.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter that you are a small dealership with 10 sales or 3 salespeople in West Virginia versus a Chicago impact up in Chicago with multiple buzz and all that stuff, right? But
Yeah.
you can't throw DGA at both those. You can, but you can't expect us to get the same thing anyway.
Yeah.
But AI is designed in its DNA to be different for every single prompt, let alone person using it, company it's in, vertical, horizontal. It's different. It
Hmm.
because it handles everyone's unique thing. So you're right. The sales team is the best place because that's where the most diversity in tasks and customer facing and revenue impact, cost reduction. It's all in that department: marketing, sales, communications, everything. And then you can barely, order processing, inventory control, service, contracts. Everything starts at and it is in the sales motion. So yeah, I'd start there. Now, once you do that though, twofold. There's no one out there that's an AI expert in AI using AI to run sales. They Salesforce says they are, they're not. It's only been around for 24 months. How much of an expert are you? I'm an expert. If I work for Salesforce and I'm using their Einstein, I'm an expert at selling Einstein, which is their AI thing.
right.
Hmm.
I'm not an expert at how you're going to use AI in your HVAC company or your plumbing company. It's
Yeah.
the same as it used to be with the accounting systems, but it's even more granular. So I don't know. You kind of got me off on a tangent, but yeah, start in the sales department and give it to your salespeople. I think I've said this before. Shit, buy it for them. $20. You can always cut it off. Let them try it. But here's where it comes into control too, Art, right? I mean, what dealer ownership manager doesn't want to know exactly what your salespeople are doing at every or whoever they are at any given time. In our industry, that's pretty freaking everyone clamps
Hmm.
down. So
Or if you could ask it, tell me every deal our competitors are working on, that would be great. But can't do that.
well, yeah, I can. I mean, that's another thing is like everyone's, I don't want it. Oh boy, let's go. So I don't want to share my information with AI because everyone will get to it. And my question is, well, who the hell cares? Who cares that you put your financials, ABC Copier's financials, somehow get out there on the interwebs? Who cares? Or there's something, or is there some reason people should care? And why should the IRS care?
Well,
Or,
I mean, if it was a competitor of mine and I found their financials,
yeah.
I would care,
Well, what would you do?
especially if their financials were derogatory,
Well, the financials are the financials.
correct? But
So if I know my,
if
if I've got,
if a
yeah,
company's losing money, don't I owe it to my client if
would
they're
you?
considering that company to say, are you sure you want to get in bed with this company?
You could say that, and hopefully, now see, that's just it. It forces everyone to be a little bit more honest about where they're at with their customers. It's a classic football thing. It's like the whole playbook. If there are football teams that are out there that say, "Listen, I don't care. You can steal all my secrets, all my signs. It doesn't matter because
Right.
I still have superior." Yeah, we're in a tough financial times, but I've still got this. That's good. I still believe in this. These are my cores. And if you don't want to work with me because of what someone told you about my financial state, you got to be strong enough to be able to do that. And ultimately, that's what happens. And I guarantee, so what? I still go back to it. So what? Sell
Mhm.
through it. Sell it, and it might not even be real anyway. There's what do you
Yeah.
mean?
So
But yeah.
no, I'm saying the site you were talking about, Greg, is it LVM or
No, we're actually talking about Chat GBT.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
okay.
It's called also Open AI.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. Oh boy. I shouldn't have lit it up.
Sorry, my dog is going crazy.
Uh-oh. Are there animals?
I just the one here, I just let him out back, but or let her out back. So
All right, Eddie. Well, we're
Gotta
going to
get
be
you done.
winding up the show in about 10 minutes anyway, and really want to thank you for chiming in and asking us some questions because that's what our show is all about.
oh sure, yeah.
Ask us questions. Greg and I are just, we're out there always trying to find new applications, new ways to use AI or what's new in the industry.
Mhm.
And, we just, our shows are basically geared about talking about each week about that, those types of changes or new things in our industry.
Yeah.
And, we welcome you to come on anytime.
Okay.
Yeah. Any
Yeah.
questions at
I had
all?
just got home a little while ago and I'm like, I was looking at my calendar. I had to send some emails. I'm like, I'm gonna hop on there and see what's going on.
Cool.
So,
Cool. That's great.
but
That's
yeah,
great.
good to see you again, Art. I hope your health's holding up good.
Good so far, Eddie, and I hope the same with you, my friend.
Yep. Okay.
Good meeting you, Eddie.
We do a lot of trade deals and I got a bunch of customers. We're going to the Roanoke Symphony here tonight. So
Oh
it's a pretty
wow.
good time. So
Oh, and Greg,
Yeah.
Eddie is an awesome guitar player.
Oh, all right. I can't play the radio, but I appreciate the talent.
Wow, look him up on Facebook and you'll see
Okay.
some Star Spangled Banners that he did that were amazing.
Oh, okay, cool.
thanks,
Yeah.
Art. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, y'all have a great weekend and thanks for letting me on. I'll jump on here again another time. So
Thanks,
Okay.
Eddie.
All right,
Appreciate
Eddie.
it.
y'all
See
have
ya.
a good one.
You too.
Cheers.
Thank you.
So, Greg,
Yeah.
we just wanted to, we're getting down to the witching hour anyway for us.
Yeah, we got 9 minutes. Yeah.
Now we got 9 minutes. I do want to remind, we know we're going to be going live with the sales team on the
Yes.
17th, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do that through MS Teams, and I'm going to make sure an invite is sent to you. I have the invite, I just haven't sent it yet. I'll send that to
Perfect.
you,
Perfect.
and looking forward to
Well, yeah, and I've been thinking about that, Art. We can talk a little bit more offline, but for anyone who's listening, this is good stuff. I mean, I don't know how to put it any other way. It ain't rocket science, but coming from two people who have used it and one who is still in the field, and I swear to God, Art, the stuff you just shared with us stuff today, like, dang, I didn't know it would do that either.
right.
So this thing is changing all the time, and it's the best for us at the individual. And I just cannot encourage any more emphatically to get into an LLM. And I know now, Art, that what we do can shortcut months off of the learning curve.
That's it. And
Oh,
it can. It can. And if there's one thing that salespeople always want, what do they always want?
more time.
Shortcut.
Yeah, and a shortcut. Yeah, shortcut. Yeah.
How do I save time?
Boom, boom, boom. Yep. I hate like yes, we could talk forever, but yeah, anything and they always find it though. That's what's cool about salespeople. It's like this is your process, this is how we do it. And the first thing we're thinking is, oh, I can probably do that quicker. How can I make this work faster? How can I do this so I can get more of it done and all that stuff?
Can can
This is it.
can you imagine if you still had to go to a library or an encyclopedia to find what you were looking for,
No,
right?
no,
Right?
no.
So can you imagine why people are going to the web to find or research what they need or what they're looking for?
I can imagine why, yeah.
Why? They can have all the time in the world.
Yeah, so they can cut the research time down. That's one thing, and there's shortcuts involved with there too. Yeah,
I mean, the time savings for sales managers and sales reps is absolutely incredible.
it is
And
mind-blowing.
I'm being flat out. I've been using it. I've been using it for 6 months, every day. 6 months before that, it was sporadically. Now I'm using it a couple hours every day
Yeah,
for
wow, that's
for
great.
for sales, and
That's
it's
great.
saving me tremendous amount of time. And I also think it's made me uh, much better at what I do.
That art, absolutely. That is it. If boy, now you got me all excited. Yeah, the hook is you can do more with less effort, right? Okay, that's cool. That's your shortcut. But what you're doing is getting better at everything, getting better at you.
Yes,
But who's ever, you
I'm
and the
making
person
me better.
you're making yourself better. This is like reading all the books you read before in 15 minutes and actually, right, getting it. And it
Right,
works and you can use it. I think that's one of the things we talked about. The stuff we talk about on our little sessions, you can use the second you get off the session. There's
that's right.
no study, there's no cue cards, there's no syllabus, there's no agenda, there's no follow-up quizzes or anything like that. The stuff we tell you, and that's the key. And like art, you're a perfect, hell, we're both perfect examples. You only learn more by the more you use it. It really is true, right? I mean,
Yeah,
we've read thousands of books, and if you can remember 10% of what the book said right after you read it, you're ahead of the game.
right,
That's because you read 90% of that crap was irrelevant to you and your situation.
right.
That's what this whole thing does. That's what
And
this LLM does. It's
yeah,
relevant to where you're at
yep.
personally.
In
That's it.
in sports, you have muscle memory, you have training, and that repetitive nature of doing the training gives you the muscle memory. So where you're not thinking, you're just reacting.
Yep.
And I can say the same is true with using an LLM every day.
That's true.
You
That's
are
right.
thinking, but immediately you're shedding the old ways of doing things and finding new ways that can help you to get better.
Art, you're getting me all misty.
Hey,
That's it. That's it.
everyone.
All right.
We're at the witching hour. I want to thank Greg for his insight.
Good job.
Thank John, who had to leave us early. Thank Eddie Jones
And
for
Eddie, it was
being on
nice
the
meeting
show.
Eddie. Yeah, I didn't know him. Nice to.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we invite everybody to the show. If you want to be on the show, be a guest, contact Greg or myself through LinkedIn or hit us up on our websites. Greg has still using Death of the Copier and
Yep.
AI Tap and
There's grwalters.com. That's the portal that goes to all of them. So go
Yep.
there and you can see it. What was
mine
I
is,
gonna
of
say?
course, Print for Pay Hotel or
Print for
everything
Pay
I do
Hotel.
on LinkedIn. And
How many
please-
episodes do we have on the YouTube? I don't even know.
I think this is going to be 42.
See, that's good stuff. All right.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Cool.
So we'll be doing number 43 next week, number 44 the week after. We're going to take the Friday off after Christmas, just to give ourselves a little break. Then we'll be back after the new year. I'll be off to ECS the second week of January in Phoenix. And I'm really looking forward to that to see what a lot of those talk tracks are about, especially since there's going to be some talk tracks on AI and incorporation to ERPs and CRM. So I'm
Yeah.
interested to hear about that. And I'm sure I'm going to have a few
Yeah.
things to say about sales and AI.
Cool. Cool.
So
All right.
please remember to like, follow, share, and we'll be back next week.
See you later. Have a good one.